All right, so we are going to measure up some of our hops. We have our bittering edition coming up, our 60-minute edition. You know, it's funny, in today's craft beer world, we throw a lot of hops around when we throw hops around. And so it's kind of fun for me, especially this has been one of the things that's kind of evolved for us naturally here at Cartridge since we opened about a year and a half ago, is we sell a lot of lager, and it's fun to make for me. So yeah, but these beers are the complete opposite. You know, these hops are subtle. They're not meant to be blasting and be at center stage. They're there in the background, propping things up, helping to keep things drinkable and balanced. So yeah, so really this is just a little 1 pound, edition of Magnum. Magnum is a nice higher alpha acid hop that's good for bittering. People use the terminology and say it's a clean bittering hop, and by that meaning really all it does contribute is just a nice clean straight line bitterness. There's not a lot of extra flavor coming along with it or any harshness. We're going to have that edition coming up here in about another 5 minutes. The second edition is going to be really just 2 pounds of Herzbrucker, a lower alpha acid hop, noble, very traditional. To be honest, during the last year and a half of me really diving into these traditional German beers, I've just been buying different noble hops and running them through all of the lagers that I make. We make a beer called Up the Hill, which is our Helles, which is a really good seller for us. Been fortunate enough to win some awards for that beer. We make an amber lager. We make Prost, which is kind of, you know, rotating. It's not really the brown ale version of it's not just like a brown ale made with lager yeast. It's not that, but it's trending a little bit more in that direction. Brown ale is typically more chocolate and caramel. This is no caramel. With a little bit of roast and some toastiness, right? That's what we have going on with this right now. So I'm just in a Herzbrucker cycle, running that hop through all these beers. Again, going back to the things that we do well and we don't do well. I have some brewer friends that can sit down, do a hop rub, and just pull all the descriptors out and know exactly how it's going to work in a beer. I need experience with it in order to make that happen. So yeah, that's really what's going on hopping wise with this. Pretty, I don't know, it's a light hand with everything with a beer like this. Do you want this arm open, Mag, for purge? Okay. And do we have it at 5? Yeah, you can start your 90-minute. Yeah, ma'am. Things are coming together. Where are you guys at? You're setting up that loop, right? All right, so when you have that loop set up, you and I will grain out, okay? Okay. All right, so we are 30 minutes into our boil here. It's my 1 pound of Magnum that's going in to be boiled for 60 minutes. The kettle's ripping pretty hard right now. It's kind of a fine line between, yeah, we want a good vigorous boil and get some good boil off, and also making sure that everything stays in the kettle. So what I like to do is I'll be real gingerly with adding my hops. Again, this is one of those times where when you're adding hops to a rolling boil like this, that it can kick back. What's up, Brandon? So I do it slowly, and you can tease me or whatever that I add my hops so slowly, but it makes me feel good. These hops are going to be boiled for 60 minutes. In another 30 minutes, we will be adding our small edition of some beautiful little traditional Herzbrucker hops from Germany. I'm going to babysit this kettle for a second to make sure it eats these hops, turns over, and the boil calms down again. And then next up, as this is going on, we're gonna grain out the mash tuns. So just as you kind of get a feel for the day, we've been doing all of our things. Josh and Maggie just wrapped up dry hopping a beer. Maggie just is finishing up sanitizing a bright tank that she's now purging of atmosphere with CO2. So we have a CO2 rich environment to transfer our fruited IPA Huey into. And so Josh over here is harvesting out some yeast that we're going to be brewing with today. He's taking yeast off of our airborne amber lager, and he's harvesting 4.4 pounds per barrel of lager yeast that's going to be going into this Dunkel today. And then while all that's happening, as that bright tank is purging, Maggie and I are going to grain out this mash tun. Good. All right, so Josh is harvesting yeast right now. What our rig is when we were sanitizing the fermenter that we're going into today, we built out this rig off the bottom line with a sight glass and a valve, and then a block over here. And so we had this sanitized line that we can attach to the tank that we want to harvest yeast off of. What Josh has been doing is, this is a brink, this is just a yeast keg. This yeast keg would be sealed, and we'll push yeast out down this line and out here. We will drop some of the initial yeast that comes off of a tank. It's typically dead yeast and yeast that stops working first, or like the most flocculent yeast. That's not what we want to be harvesting here. We want to be harvesting from the middle of the cone, so the cone of yeast. What we want to be doing is here, we have this cone of yeast in the bottom of the fermenter. We want to drop that bottom portion off, and we want to harvest the good stuff in the middle. So that's what we're doing right now. We're doing that by weight. Josh is harvesting about 4.4 pounds per barrel. We're going to be putting 16.5 barrels of wort for this Dunkel that we're making today into the fermenter. And so that's what he's doing in here, and he's weighing it. So that's how we handle yeast. At some point, though, I do think it's a little funny to like be, recording stuff and seeing like partial glasses of beer laying around. I do want to be clear about something. Tasting is part of what we do, but it's actually tasting. I can't tell you how bad of an idea it is for some brewers that like to just flat out drink pints while they work, and they're out there and they post it online. The stupidity, please, on so many levels. If you want to have an instant ticket for anybody firing you on the spot, please post pictures of yourself drinking at work while you're working with fire, pressure, ladder, hoses, wet floors. There's hoses all over the floor. Trip and fall is the #1 injury in a brewery. And then you have, quite frankly, that are literally drinking pints at work. And actually, Andy, never say that I say they're. It might be a sad situation, but honestly, have some respect for yourself, okay? Or the people that you're working with. I was looking for some information the other day on a Facebook group for our canner, and some guy posted his crispy boy that he was drinking. He said, like, during shift. That's what he said in the post. I hate that. It's the dumbest thing. I don't understand what. Man, that fires me up. Probably doesn't need to, but it does. And then you want to be taken seriously as a professional, right? You know what I mean? There's enough stigma about this industry, about being an alcoholic because you make beer for a living. Honestly, people just expect you to be drunk. And I'm telling you, you go to an event and people want you to be pounding beers, constantly feeding you beer. And that's nice, and they're trying to be hospitable and everything. Like, don't get me wrong. But like this whole thing where dudes they're posting pints while they're, dude, unreal. Imagine another, if you want our industry to look like losers, keep doing that. If you want to complain about brewer pay, keep doing that. If you want to not be treated like a professional, keep doing that. Anyways, I'm not even playing. Dude, that fires me up so much. And the kicker is going to be when something goes sideways, it's probably going to be somebody else that gets hurt because people are stupid. It's probably not going to be the person that's just stupid themselves. I think there's few games more Midwestern than Euchre. I think Euchre is.
I don't even know how to play.
You're not from the Midwest, homie.
I know Pinochle. I don't know Euchre.
My in-laws play Pinochle. I need to learn it. It would be a good gesture on my part. Josh, how's that kettle look? It's not, it doesn't look spooky, but it's rolling? Yeah, boy. My man! All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you feel as if you got any value out of the video, please like and subscribe. There are also other videos that you can watch. They're gonna maybe be over here or over here. Appreciate you watching.